Let's just start with this, because it's a pretty provocative statement, right? Most people are letting AI destroy their ability to think. The very tool that promises to make us superhumanly intelligent is, for a lot of us, becoming a crutch. And it's actually weakening our most important muscle, our brain.
So what's the secret? What's the difference? Well, it really boils down to this fundamental split. While almost everyone is using AI to get quick, easy answers, the top 1% are using it completely backwards. They're not just looking for information. They're using AI as a tool to actually train their own minds, to think better, faster, and smarter.
And that is exactly what we're going to break down today. We're going to walk through a really counterintuitive 4-step framework that flips the whole common approach on its head. It's about turning AI from a mental wheelchair. All right, here's the game plan. First, we'll dig into why we're basically programmed to use AI the wrong way. Then, we're going to identify what's called your zone of laziness to get your focus back. After that, we'll learn how to climb the intelligent hill of prompting. Then comes the fun part. We'll step into the AI mental gym to build some real cognitive muscle. And finally, we'll talk about the mindset shift you need to become an intelligent fool. Okay, first things first. Let's get to the root of the problem. Why do so many of us feel like we're just spinning our wheels on low-value work? Well, it turns out it's not some personal failing. It's actually a biological glitch. And that glitch has a name. It's called completion bias. See, your brain is hardwired to crave that little dopamine hit it gets from finishing something, anything at all. This means that finishing a pointless email feels just as good, chemically, as landing a huge deal. And the result? We get priority blindness, where every task feels just as important as the next. So how do we fight back against our own biology? Well, the first step is something called intelligent laziness. It's all about consciously and ruthlessly separating the work that really moves the needle from the work that just doesn't. And this is how you visualize it. On the left, you've got capped payoffs. Think of things like internal emails or formatting slides. Any extra effort you put in here has like zero return. This is your zone of laziness. But on the right, that's where the magic is. These are uncapped payoffs, your zone of obsession. In things like product design or how you talk to customers, being just 1% better can lead to absolutely massive exponential results.
So for all that stuff in your zone of laziness, you need to learn this word, satisficing. It's a mashup of satisfy and suffice. It basically means do just enough to get the job done and then move on. Stop polishing it. It's good enough.
And here's a super simple way to do it. Just use the drag framework to hand off all that zone of laziness stuff to your AI. Use it for drafting, to beat that awful blank page. Use it for research, to get instant summaries. Use it for analysis, to spot patterns you might miss. And of course, use it for all the grunt work, the boring, repetitive tasks that drain your energy. This frees you up to live in your zone of obsession. Okay, so you've figured out what to delegate to AI. The next question is pretty obvious. How do you do it well? This is all about getting way better at the actual skill of talking to these models.
I absolutely love this metaphor. You have to remember you're dealing with a drunk genius. It's incredibly smart one second, and then it's totally confused and just making stuff up the next. You have to be the designated driver. You're in charge.
So how do you drive the car? You start climbing this hill. Most people are stuck at the bottom, just asking simple questions. But you can level up. Start with one-shot prompting, where you give it one really good example. Then move to few-shot, giving it a few examples to get it on the right track. Then chain of thought, where you make the AI show its work, step by step. And finally, you get to agents, where you basically hire the AI to run a whole multi-step project for you.
Okay, now you're using AI to be faster, more efficient, you're flying. And honestly, this is where most people stop. But this is where the plot twist comes in. Because the top performers, they do something that sounds crazy. They deliberately slow things down. And this is why. Think about it. Long-term intelligence isn't built on making things easy. It's built by pushing against resistance. If you rely on AI for everything, it's like zero gravity for your brain. There's no friction, there's no load, and eventually your mental muscles just waste away.
So the real secret is knowing when to switch gears. For information tasks, stuff you just need to get done, sure, use AI to remove all the friction. Go as fast as you can. But for transformation tasks, the things you really need to learn and master, you have to use AI to add friction. That's the core idea behind the AI mental gym.
And here's exactly how you do it. Just like lifting heavier weights, you apply progressive overload to your brain. So you study a topic on your own first, then you ask your AI to act as your spotter and quiz you. But you keep ramping up the difficulty.
Start simple. Quiz me like a high school student. Then, quiz me like a college student. Then, grill me like I'm in a tough job interview. And finally, my favorite, challenge me like an irate boss. This is how you build real, deep understanding that sticks.
So we've covered the what and the how, but there's one last piece of the puzzle. It's an internal shift, a mindset that makes all of this other stuff actually work.
And hey, if you think mindset stuff is soft and fluffy, just look at this number. Microsoft's value exploded from $300 billion to over 3 times trillion dollars. How? It wasn't just a new product, it was a new culture.
This was it. This was the move. Satya Nadella came in and shifted the entire company from a culture of know-it-alls, where everyone was terrified to admit they didn't have the answer, to a culture of learn-it-alls, where curiosity and saying, "I don't know," was suddenly a superpower.
And this lines up perfectly with what we know about the brain. Real learning, real rewiring of your neurons, only happens when you're struggling, when you're making mistakes, when you're right at the edge of what you can do. That feeling of being a little bit stupid, that is literally the feeling of your brain getting smarter.
And AI is the perfect training ground for this. It's your own private, non-judgmental tutor. You can ask it all the stupid questions you'd be embarrassed to ask a coworker. You can tell it, "Explain that to me in a simpler way," over and over. You can even say, "Teach me this like I'm 10 years old." Be the intelligent fool in private today, so you can be the genius in public tomorrow.
So I guess that leaves us with one final thought. The biggest benefit of becoming truly intelligent isn't knowing all the answers, it's the end of having to pretend that you do. So I'll leave you with this challenge. What's the one thing you've been nodding along to, pretending you understand, and what stupid question about it are you going to go ask AI right now?